My name is Dr. Richard Goldfarb, and I am a board-certified general and vascular surgeon who has spent his entire life in the medical field. One of the things that has come across my desk was a product line called Miracle 2. These are unbelievable products. When I looked at these products, I first had to go back to the basic chemistry and biology of these type of products. When I see these type of products, I have to be sure that they work, number one. Number two, I have to be sure that what their claims are is real. As a physician, we tend to not believe that over-the-counter type products have any merit in this type of a situation to help patients. We spend all our lives writing prescriptions and looking at products that, quote, are from huge drug companies, and those are the only ones that have any merit. However, what I did was I wanted to take the same scrutiny as I did with those type of products and look at these type of products. These products being the Miracle 2 products. Once I looked at them, I then said, okay, let me put it to the test. I gave the products to various patients that I have had and I have trust in that I know would tell me whether or not they have a true effect on the results. Unbelievable with some of the results that I have gotten. I have given this product to other healthcare practitioners and other people who are colleagues of mine who are also as critical as I am when it comes to really thinking that you should take a product or use a product. They have gotten the same results as I have gotten. We had people with terrible dry skin that was flaking and peeling literally off their body. When we used the skin moisturizer, it was unbelievable. They said this stuff is just, what is it? They can't imagine they got these great results. What we told them was that we were able to give them, with our integrity, the best product out there that we know is going to work for them. We know why it works. And I think it's really deserving of us to explain to you what happens from a chemistry background, since I am a physician. What really happens is, in a condition such as dry skin or any of these other medical conditions, the pH, which is the key to our body's what we call homeostasis, in other words, how it works effectively, is changed. The pH becomes what we call acidotic, meaning that we're in a disease state. This product will enact a neutral pH. It brings you back to that 7.4 level. Bringing you back to the neutral pH, it then allows your own immune system and your body to function in a normal state. We feel with these products there are many, many uses you're going to find, even well beyond what we have discovered ourselves. I highly recommend you try them. I can tell you honestly that you will get the results that we say you're going to get, and if you don't, we want to hear from you, we want to discuss it with you, and we want to know if we can help you get the results that we feel you're going to get. So as of today, I can tell you from an ethical and an integrity standpoint that I stand behind what things that we know are going to change in your life. I can assure you that the company will stand behind you as well. I certainly would not be involved with a company that would not give that type of a guarantee back to the potential customers. I feel very strong about the value of these products. I know we will deliver what we say we can deliver. I also know that many of you are going to get certainly greater effects from other uses that you're going to find that we don't even know about. Again, if you bring the body's chemistry back to that neutral pH and you're able to have your own body's immune system working at its full capacity, you're going to get miraculous results as we did. Based on that, we also are looking at other products. We also looked at a certain situation with what we call the hormone situation in this country today. As many of you know, women out there that are in the perimenopausal and menopausal states, the 35 to 50-year-olds and older, develop what we call menopausal symptoms. Some of these symptoms are mood swings, hot flashes, irritability, irregular menstrual cycles, brittle hair and nails, many other symptoms that these women have gotten. Basically, what has happened is we as physicians had always prescribed estrogen and progesterone to women to replace the levels that are decreasing as the age in a woman increases. I.e., when a woman turns 35, the estrogen and progesterone levels start to decrease. We, as physicians, had always given estrogen and progesterone back to the women in order to keep the level up and deal with these symptoms. However, the National Institute of Health study, which was supposed to be an 8-year study, had to be stopped after only 5 years. Why? Because they found that the risks far outweighed the benefits. What they found was the risk of heart disease, gallbladder disease, stroke, and especially breast cancer had markedly increased. Quote, you cannot fool with Mother Nature. If God wanted the estrogen and progesterone levels to decrease, there must be a reason for it. Therefore, we needed to seek and find a product that was going to deal with all these menopausal symptoms without fooling with, quote, Mother Nature. We went back to the benchmark and we had to sit there and go over the many herbal natural remedies that are out there. What we did is we looked at all the ingredients that have made claims that are going to hopefully help women deal with these menopausal symptoms. We then had a very large task at hand. We had to find what combination and what type of products we could put together that are going to give you a response that we wanted. It took many, many hours, but we spent that time in order to deliver what we think is the best product on the market. We then gave it to various physicians for their own clinical trial in order for them to get the response that we hoped to have. We indeed were very fortunate we were able to achieve that prior to bringing this to the team of Lafayette Miracle 2. Once we introduced this product to them, they were very critical, and rightfully so, to make sure, quote, we had a product that worked. Since we have the Lafayette Miracle 2 line, we know we have to deliver a product that, quote, works. We don't want to have a product that is just another Me Too product. We have to have something unique, and most importantly, as I keep repeating myself, is it has to be effective. We feel we have achieved that. I am very proud to have this product introduced to you in order to elicit the response that we have seen in our own practices as physicians. I am sure that you will elicit the same response that many of our patients have already obtained. We feel by taking the feminine naturally, you will obtain the same response that many of the patients that I personally have prescribed the product to, as well as my colleagues have prescribed it to, have gotten. I know once you try this product, you will be a major believer in the effects of treating these menopausal symptoms. I'm very anxious to hear all the feedback from all of you and how you have relief of these terrible symptoms that do occur without having the dangerous side effects of hormones back in your body with the increased risk of breast cancer and heart disease and stroke and all those various terrible side effects that can occur. We can assure you that this product is, quote, safe and effective. I know it's going to be a great product for you. So please give it a try. And most importantly, please give me the feedback. I'm anxious to hear from you. I want to know that this product is working as well as I have seen in my own patients. Therefore, please correspond to me. I know it's going to work for you as it has worked for them.
Hi, my name's Karen Allwine, and this is my daughter Jenna, and this is Jenna's horse PJ, and we're here today to tell you about an accident that PJ had and the Miracle 2 products and how they helped PJ heal. The riding accident happened in July of 2002. Jenna was riding up on our hill with my husband and PJ, and they were taking a ride, and they started to canter, and there was a stump, easy, there was a stump sticking up out of the hill, and the horse didn't see it, and the horse went over top of the stump, and she was impaled in the front of her chest. The stump cut through her breast muscle and tore the whole way through between the front legs and came out behind the left front leg. And it ripped an entire flap of skin. The entire injury was about 1.5 feet long by 1 foot wide. And I could put, between the breast muscle, I could put my hand this deep up inside her breast muscle from the front clear back to the back of her legs, and her trach was also nicked. The blood was running out of her like water, and we worked hard to get her stabilized and until the trauma vet came, and we took her over to the Equine Trauma Center, and they sutured her a little bit, but we knew because of the nature of the injury and where it was and because of the range of motion and gravity that the sutures probably wouldn't take. We had a lot of concerns, one of which was infection. Another concern was that entire flap of skin would die, and then we'd have a bigger mess and to get it all healed and closed down. So when she was at the trauma center, she also got a condition where, because of the nicked trachea, where the air filled up under her skin and her whole body. When you ran your hand over, it felt like crackled bubble paper. It was just full of air under all of her skin, so she looked like a rhinoceros. And after about 3 days, they said I could bring her home. And I had just been introduced to the Miracle 2 products, and I was very overwhelmed by the severity of this injury and taking care of it. It was really scary to me. I did what the doctors, the veterinarians, told me to do for the first week. And then after that, I entirely used Miracle 2 products. And what I did, her care was twice a day. And what I did was I took gauze pads, and well, first I would hose her down all over and keep her sprayed with the Miracle 2 products. I bathed her with the soap in water because I found that putting the Miracle 2 Neutralizer and soap in her drinking water helped to maintain her calm, because a horse that's used to being out every day, she had to be confined to her stall for a good 3 months. And I was really concerned because she can have a lot of fire and energy, and I was afraid that she would be just too high-strung being in the stall, and it kept her calm. She never went off her feed. As a matter of fact, I had to cut her down to almost nothing because she just maintained good health. Her muscle tone even stayed nice, even though she hasn't been ridden at all since July. Her coat stayed really nice and shiny. The flies, I didn't have that big of a problem because that was in the middle of summer, and the flies were really bad. And the Miracle 2 tended to ward off the flies as well. Whenever I did her wound care, I would spray it out with a hose, just with plain water. Then I would use gauze pads and saturate the gauze pads with the water that had the Neutralizer and Miracle 2 soap in it, the combination. And what I did is saturated the gauze pad, and then I just cleaned up inside the whole entire wound and scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed until all of the yellow, I forget what that stuff's called, but well, it wasn't pus. It was some kind of sebum or something. It wasn't pus because it never got infected. And so I cleaned that all out and then rinsed it again, and then I used a dry gauze pad and kind of blotted it, and then I used the Miracle 2 Neutralizer gel. And I had rubber gloves, and I would put about the size of a quarter and just coat the whole inside of the wound. And then I had kind of a neat little contraption to hold, that came over her withers, that then held a bandage. And I used one of those bed pads because you had told me that some kind of plastic was good to keep the energy in. So I used the bed pads in half because it helped absorb drainage. Plus, it was the plastic there, too, to keep everything doing what it was supposed to do. And it took approximately 3 months of care. And the wound has closed down, it granulated in. There is basically no scar tissue or proud flesh. And proud flesh it's just when the flesh that granulates in. No, it's when the flesh, it kind of, yes, well, it just kind of, I don't know the technical word for it, but it just gets overgrown, and it has a life of its own, and the hair tends to not grow over top of the proud flesh. And it's like an ugly scar tissue. It's really ugly. The Miracle 2 products, another problem with her for being cooped up, horses tend to stock up. And their legs get really swollen, and their joints get, especially their hocks, get swollen. When I used the Neutralizer spray on her, now for this situation, because it was such a traumatic thing and it was a big injury, I used Neutralizer spray straight on her. And I would hose her down, use the soap, bathe her off, and then for the last thing over her whole body and her legs, I would use the Neutralizer spray. And it kept, the next morning, the swelling would be all gone out of her. She wouldn't be stocked up at all. And
Karen, tell them what the vet said about the process.
oh, as far as the wound healing, that my veterinarians told me that because she is 20 years old, that she probably wouldn't have, you know, that the healing, not to expect a whole lot because she doesn't have the regeneration of tissue like a younger horse would, but it has been incredible. And the flap of skin, I was afraid that we would lose that whole flap of skin because it's like someone took a knife and just skinned her hide right off. And the only piece of hide that we lost was where the original sutures were. And it was about 1 inch wide by about 2 inches long. Are you okay?
Yeah, I was in his way.
Oh, I'm sorry. Easy. But that's all of the hide that we lost. And basically, there's only a section that needs to granulate down and close up that's about 3 to 4 inches long and about 1 inch wide. And the depth of it is only probably that deep now. And it's just amazing. And the other thing I found that is incredible with the Miracle 2 products with horses, anybody who has horses and shows horses knows that a horse that has any kind of white hair on it at all, we have problems with manure stains. And usually you have to use, the whiter the horse and the more white hair you have this problem and getting the manure stains out, and you have to use harsh chemicals. And we've always used whatever's on the market in the tack shop. But I found that the Miracle 2 is incredible. It just washes it away, and it repels. It just repels the manure stains. I just wanted to take a minute and show you how the scar, where it originated and what it looked like. Of course, when it happened, I didn't think to take pictures. I was in save mode. But when the stump came in, it penetrated in the middle of her breast, and it came down through here, the whole way out behind her left front leg, and the girth is what stopped the stump and threw her off of the stump then. This skin was ripped the whole way over here, and it was torn the whole way down through here, and this whole piece of hide was hanging down to here in a big V, about like this. And I could stick my hand this deep from here to back here, straight up inside. It was this deep. That's how far up inside the horse this injury was. And it nicked her trachea. And as you can see, she has a tiny little bit of a scar right here that isn't even going to be that noticeable. But there's not that much left to come down and granulate down. This was all swollen and thick with scar tissue when this originally happened. But since we've been using the Miracle 2, a lot of that swelling and scar mass has gone away. I was really concerned that we wouldn't be able to put a girth on her again. There is no swelling right in front of the girth and right at the girth anymore at all. And I really anticipate that this is going to come down and heal in, and all the hair is going to come together. And if anything, she's just going to have a slight incision-looking scar. It's not going to be a lot of proud flesh or anything like that. So I wished I would have taken pictures, because anyone who has a horse and really cares about it, it's really traumatic when something like this happens. And I think you just have to have the faith to use the Miracle 2 products, because it was an incredible experience. still coming down and closing in. But with the Miracle 2 products, she hasn't had any infection. Her vital signs never wavered. She maintained a nice calm composure, never went off her feed, never lost. I mean, it's amazing to me that her muscle tone has stayed so nice. Oh, thanks. But for 20 years old, to sustain an injury of that magnitude, I'm truly amazed, and I just am thankful.
I'd like to tell you the story about Mandy. It was a little dog that I'd groomed for several years. She's an older dog, and she's a Shih Tzu, just like Mariah is here. And I began using Miracle 2 products for myself and discovered that it was so good that I decided to use it on the dogs. And I began bathing all of the dogs in it. And we have improved coat conditions and everything with it. But with Mandy's story, I hadn't saw her for a while. And I thought, oh, her mom and dad went to Florida and took her with them. Well, Dad called, made an appointment. He said he wanted to pretty her up, but he asked that there be no other dogs in the shop. And I thought that was a rather strange request. But I agreed, and he brought Mandy in, and she was on his arm, and she was just laying limp on his arm. And it surprised me, because Mandy was the kind of dog that was so excited to come here and be with me and all this and that. And she'd dance on the thing. She was real cute. She was hard to groom, but she was cute. And he told me that Mandy had gotten quite ill, and for 2 weeks she just laid around. And he finally took her to the vet, and the vet told them that she was filled with cancer in her lungs and that she wasn't going to last long. And he even recommended that she not be groomed because he thought it would be entirely too stressful for her and it would kill her. Well, I says to him, I'll see what I can do, but I won't promise anything, and we'll just see what we can do. Well, I laid her down here and was starting to comb her and trim up her feet, and I thought, oh, we'll just give her a bath. We'll not push the issue. I put her in the tub, and I wet her down, and then I put the Miracle 2 soap on her. And I dilute it quite heavily. I use like a teaspoon to 16 ounces of water. So this is very dilute. And I lathered her up, and she's laying in the sink on her side, and she stood up. And after I'm lathering her some more, she started doing her Mandy dance back and forth like she always did. And I thought, wow. So I dried her, and I put her in her cage, and she stood in the cage dryer, and she jumped from side to side like she always did before. I got her all groomed up. She looked cute. And when I was done, I sprayed Neutralizer in her eyes and in her mouth because I thought that it would help her. Well, her dad came in, and he looked around, and he said, where's Mandy? And I said, well, that's her there in the cage. And he says, standing up. He was amazed. And he says, what did you do? And I said, well, I just washed her in Miracle soap, and it's totally natural and organic, and it won't hurt her. He says, oh, my goodness, what a difference it's made. And I says, and I gave her Neutralizer, too. And he says, well, what's that? And I said, well, it tastes like water, because I was scared he was going to be angry with me. And I gave him a squirt, and he says, well, it's just like water. And I says, well, watch this. And I squirted Mandy's mouth real good, and she was perky and happy, and out the door he went. He was happy. 15 minutes later, his wife calls, and she says, what did you do to my dog? And I thought, oh, my goodness, it died or something on the way home. She said her husband opened the door. Mandy jumped out of the front seat of the car, ran up the steps, went in, and hit her food and water bowl. This is a dog that hadn't been eaten for a couple weeks. So she said it was a real miracle. So we continued with Miracle bathing once a week, and she got Neutralizer every day. So I think it was a true miracle for Mandy May. Some of the strange things that I've found with the products are, these are just by hit and miss me. I found that dogs that have very dirty, waxy, built-up ears, 1 or 2 drops of the pure undiluted soap in each ear, and then you work it down in the ear canal, it just floats all that dirt and infection right out. And if an owner keeps it up for about 2 weeks, it's all gone. Just a few drops in each ear of the soap. And another strange thing I found was if when I'm cutting toenails, occasionally the quick is longer, and it will bleed. I found that if I pick up my spray bottle of Neutralizer, I know it's here somewhere, see? And I just spray it on that bleeding nail, it automatically stops bleeding. And that's so much better than using the harsh chemicals that I did before. So before I was using a lot of chemicals in the shop, and now I don't. The only thing chemical that I use is a little bit of cologne afterwards, and the dog is totally natural. Mange is a problem that's quite common in dogs. They get hot spots in that. We have found that just by washing them with the Miracle 2 soap, if they have a big red sore looking spot, it's almost completely normal looking by the time they're groomed, dried, and squirted with Neutralizer. It's a miracle. And the coat problems that I've saw over the years, the dogs are now just clearing up. Some dogs that have terrible problems, it does take a little longer. Some dogs that have just a mild problem, one bath and one squirt of Neutralizer does it. It's unbelievable the health benefits that the dogs get from it. A $22 bottle of Miracle 2 does approximately 55 dogs here in my shop. If I'm doing dogs that are half the size of Mandy and a lot of little ones, the number of dogs increase. So it's proportional to the size of the dogs. But it's a great economy. I even figured it up against the cost of the other dog products that I was using, and it comes out being lesser. So it is great for me to help me save a little money in the shop. But the most important thing is it gives better health to my clients, and that's the most important thing. The downline for everything is the health of the animals.
Hi, my name is Helen Lim, and I'm from Doylestown, Pennsylvania. I'm a licensed cosmetologist. I've been using Miracle 2 products for the last 3 years, and I've noticed that it's been really improving my skin. And the reason I took Miracle 2 products is they're 100% pure, natural, so pure that I can even eat it. People have come to me and wondered what I've been using for my skin, and I've been sharing the secret of Miracle 2 products. I want to thank Lafayette Miracle 2 for these great products.
Hi, my name is Dr. Ernie Panza, and I'm a doctor of chiropractic. My wife, Doreen, and myself are here today to tell you a little bit about the Lafayette Miracle 2 products and our experience with them. First, as many people have different symptoms, they always want to treat themselves or find out what to do specifically for a symptom. Well, with the Lafayette Miracle 2 products, it's very simple. All you do is bathe in the soap. It's biodegradable, natural, and it changes the body's pH to about a 7.4 level. The other thing that you do is you drink 7 drops of the Lafayette Miracle 2 Neutralizer. That will change the internal part of your body. It's very simple. Then, if you'd like, you can use the Lafayette Miracle 2 gel on your skin as a lotion. Now, what I'd like to do at this time is to introduce my wife, Doreen, and let her tell you a little bit about her situation and how the products have helped her. Doreen?
Thank you, Ernie. A few years ago, I had a sore on the side of my nose, about the size of the end of a straw, which appeared to be a precancer. And when Ernie heard about the Lafayette Miracle 2 products, he wanted me to try it. I'd been using several other products, and nothing seemed to be helping or making this spot disappear. And it was getting to a point that it was oozing, bleeding, looking very nasty. So I agreed, and I was very happy that I did. I started bathing and washing my face with the Lafayette Miracle 2 soap. After I would wash my face with the soap, I would then take the Lafayette Neutralizer and I put it in a small bottle, a spray bottle, and I would spray my face several times throughout the day. Then I'd take the Lafayette Miracle 2 gel and I'd blot my nose 3-4 times throughout the day. And before I go to bed at night, I'd repeat the same process and add the Lafayette Miracle 2 moisturizing cream. After about 3 or 4 days, we started to notice that the spot on my nose started to get a new form of skin. Nice little pink spot instead of a terrible red, bloody-looking spot. And as I continued to use the product, the spot got smaller and smaller and smaller. And after approximately 3 weeks, it had totally disappeared. And now I continue to use the Lafayette Miracle 2 as a natural form of facelift. I love the product. It's a very tightening to the skin and gives a nice clear complexion.
Well, as you can see, I'm very happy, and as Doreen is, with the results that she got with the Lafayette Miracle 2 products. But let me give you a little, I guess, a second testimonial about myself. Mine was a little different than Doreen's. I was driving down the road one day, and Doreen and I were doing a radio show every Thursday afternoon, and as we approached the radio station, I felt an itch in my lower left abdomen, just under my belt, and I thought it was a mosquito bite. And when we got home, as I checked it, there was not one but two, and there was a little bump which looked as a mosquito bite, but the next day I noticed that the bumps started to grow together, two of them, and they opened up, and I had a little, almost like a little incision in the skin, about 3 inches long, and as they opened up, we started to notice that it was weeping and oozing, and things were starting to come literally out of my abdomen. Well, Doreen insisted that I use the Lafayette Miracle 2 products, bathing in the soap and also using the gel, since she had got such a good result with her situation. And I did, and I would say that in a matter of about 3 weeks, the weeping stopped and the process started to heal. The cut or the incision, whatever it was, started to heal up, and then in a short time after that, I had just a little mild pink line there, and today it's completely gone. Would never know that anything had happened. So whatever was in my body at that particular time had to come out, and it just came out through the skin. Very natural process that happened. So I don't think that Doreen and I could say anything bad at all about any of the Miracle 2 products. All we could say is that they were excellent for both of us, and we both had great results.
One day my husband comes in and he was like, "Girl, let me tell you, this is something, this is something." So I'm sitting there on the bed, I'm like, "Oh yeah, okay, you know, I've heard this before, I've heard it a million times." You know, you hear things and then you say, okay, it sounds great, and you know, I'm gonna spend a couple of hundred, I'm gonna try it, or you go out and spend however much. So I said, all right, I said, you bring it, I'll try it, you know, then I'll let you know. I said, nothing's going to happen. So he goes to the meeting, he brings the products home, and I began to use them. Now what really got me was, I grew up down south in North Carolina. My grandparents were farmers. I grew up without parents. So, you know, I've worked from knee-high on the farm. And I was motherless and fatherless from the age of 6. So, you know, I did odd jobs, and when you work down south, you know, in the south, nobody cares about taking care of your hands or taking care of your skin, because you farm, you do chickens, you do tobacco, you do corn, you just do everything. So you work. You know, you don't do like the kids today. They have it wonderful today. But I worked from a child. So, you know, I worked, and in the process of working, I totally destroyed my hands from cleaning, scrubbing on the floor and everything. And I said, well, okay, I read the Bible and it talked about prayer, and that caught me. I said, okay, you know, I'll try this. So I began to use it, and I began to apply the product every day. I would take a bath, and, you know, then I would use a neutralizer, and then I would apply the moisturizer. So after, I guess, about maybe 2 weeks, I said, I'm going to concentrate on my hands. I began to see my hands peeled. I mean, my hands were so destroyed, like the black in your dress. I mean, they were really, really, they were so bad until when I was around people, I would do this. Or you know how you sit, women, and you'll do this. You know, you'll just try and keep them from everybody. And it seemed like no moisturizer, no, I don't care how much it cost. You know, and I went from above and beyond. So I began to use it, and one day I looked at my hands, and they had begun to peel. And I said, oh. So I said, So I took a piece of the dead skin and I pulled it off. and I felt underneath. I said, "Oh, I like that skin underneath there. I like that new feel." So, I began to keep using that. My hand went through a process where, they started to look scaly because it was like a snake shedding his skin. All the dead skin was coming off, and I kept using and using and using. And one day I said, "Oh my God, I got new skin." And you look at my hands now, I'm telling you, this is a miracle compared to what they were. I was totally afraid, to just, be in front of anybody. I would wear gloves, I would do everything. But through Miracle 2, okay, and through the prayer of these products, God gave me new hands. And I can thank God for that today.
And I like to clean. Now, this is how he got me into this. And I decided, well, I'll just start experimenting with it, see if it really will do what it says it's going to do. So I started with a light cleaner, maybe about half an ounce maybe, and just water and some neutralizer, and then a medium cleaner and a heavy cleaner. I put a little bit more neutralizer in each one. Okay, I use these for everything. I said, well, I'll try the car with the medium. So I went outside and cleaned the car, and it just looked beautiful. Just really like it had a wax job. Thought that was wonderful. And then I started cleaning my sinks and bathtubs and everything with it. They just sparkled. In fact, I found out the bottom, the tub, the bottom of the tub, the shower and so forth, is slick when you, so you really have to clean it after you get out. But now, I will get in the shower now. I spray my shower door, and all around it, it doesn't bother me like a cleaner would, a chemical would, which I would probably be allergic to because I have fibromyalgia. And so I spray the shower doors, and then when I get through, all I have to do is squeegee down the walls of the shower. I also clean the tub with it. And you never have a bathtub ring. It's just wonderful. And I went to my mother's. She had crud or just old charcoal baked on stuff on her stove, things on her stove. And all I did was spray it with just a pure soap. And I left it on there for about 2.5 hours. And I come back, and it just comes right off. I couldn't believe it. I just took a pad and just scrubbed it, and it was clean. So I'm just really excited about the cleaning products because I like to clean. And I cleaned my floor with it. I used the light cleaner in the spray bottle for the floors. And I keep experimenting with it, and maybe I can write a book on it one day. But I am really excited about the cleaning products. And then I decided, well, he says I can take it, so I think I'll try that. So I tried the Neutralizer, and I noticed my pain had lessened, my fibromyalgia pain had lessened. And that was wonderful because I have had a hard time finding anything that will work for that, that isn't an alternative. And I also stopped having bladder infections so often. And I haven't had one in 5 months, and that's wonderful for me. So I can't say enough about these products. I'm very excited about them. I love to clean, and I just keep finding more and more and more to clean.
I'm David Speer. I have a PhD in naturopathy. I teach for Community College of Allegheny County. I also teach for the Pittsburgh School of Massage. I've taught at Penn State University, California University of Pennsylvania. I teach the healing arts, and I've been studying how to feel great for years. I've been studying in holistic health what works. Oh, about a little over a year ago, I got a phone call from Dr. Don Mantell, and I drove to his office in the middle of the night after one of my classes, and he left in the doorway of his office some soap and neutralizer for me to try. And by the time I got home and into the bathtub, it was like 1:30 in the morning. And I noticed when I got in the bath that there was a warmth on my spine. I could feel warmth heating up, and I knew the product was doing something. It wasn't coming from the heat of the water, it was coming from the product working. And I was amazed. At that time, I had been suffering with psoriasis for over 4 years, and had tried just about everything, and nothing worked. Some things didn't even budget at all. Spent a lot of money and time. And I put the soap on, rubbed it into where the psoriasis was, and I put the Neutralizer on, rubbed it in, and then I put the soap on a second time, rubbed it in, the Neutralizer a second time, and then the soap a third time, rubbed it in, and then the Neutralizer. So I put the soap and Neutralizer each 3 times. Then I put a little gel on, and then I sealed it with the lotion, and I did that twice a day. And in 30 days, I was 80% better. No more itching, scratching. I just felt so much better. And then a few months later, I got to be where I was 100% better. I use these Miracle 2 products in my massage practice. I love the concept of working half as hard to get twice as good results. It's absolutely awesome to me, the results I've gotten using the Miracle 2 as a massage lotion.